There is a developer I know who built his entire career on one bet. The bet was that young developers will never want to touch old code. They want green fields, new frameworks, the shiny stuff, right? So the old systems, the ones actually running real companies, would always need someone. He decided to be that someone. Legacy modernization, all the way to retirement. Now, it was a brilliant bet. For 20 years, it paid. And then AI showed up and it did the one thing he never expected. It went straight for the part he thought was safe. He called it a black swan. And by the end of this video, I want you to understand exactly what happened to his niche, because the same thing is happening to yours. And there is a very specific way to be on the right side of it. I will show you the actual method at the end, the one he uses now on real client systems. If you haven't met, hi, I'm Patrick. I've been writing code for almost 30 years now, Quick Basic and Turbo Pascal as a kid, and about 20 years in .NET now. SaaS products, line of business apps, even games. And these days I teach thousands of developers how to work with AI without handing over the steering wheel. And one quick note, because this one is directly relevant, if your team is sitting on an aging .NET application and you want them to learn how to modernize it with AI properly, I run private workshops for exactly that. One focused day, your code base, your team. Link as always in the video description below. Alright, so his logic held for 2 decades, and honestly it was good logic. He and his partners find what he calls a cash cow business, a company whose software still works, still makes money, but has aged badly. Web forms, early MVC, a desktop tool that 3 people understand and everyone is afraid to touch. And they modernize it. His phrase for it is make it great again. So this work is unglamorous. It is high trust, it pays extremely well, and almost nobody young wants to do it because there is no conference talk in migrating a 15-year-old building system, right? Now, this scarcity was the entire moat. Old technology was a barrier to entry, and the barrier is what kept the work valuable. Then large language models learned to read old code better than most humans can. And here is what surprised even him. And it is the thing most developers get backwards. The hardest part of modernizing a legacy system was never the typing. Anyone can type. The hard part was the understanding. You inherit a solution with 30 projects, strange patterns, 3 different ways of doing data access because 3 different contractors passed through. Decisions nobody remembers making and nobody dares to reverse. And before you can safely change a single line, you have to reconstruct the whole thing in your head. Now that reconstruction used to take weeks, sometimes a month of billable time before you delivered anything a client could see. And now you point a capable model at the entire solution, and within hours you understand the architecture, what calls what, where the risk is concentrated, what the previous developer was actually trying to do, and where they gave up. Another developer I know, a guy with a master's degree in AI from the 1980s, did exactly this. He fed a whole multi-project solution to a model, and a couple of hours later he could talk intelligently about trade-offs that would previously have taken him a week to even see. So notice what actually happened there. The AI did not replace his judgment. It removed the slow, expensive, boring part that used to sit between him and his judgment. So he called it a black swan. And he's right. The exact thing that was supposed to protect his niche, the difficulty of old code, is the exact thing AI is best at dissolving. But watch closely what did not change. The client still needs someone they trust to make the call. The AI can explain a legacy system in 2 hours, but it cannot decide what to keep and what to kill. It cannot tell you which risk is acceptable on a system that processes real money. It cannot sit in a room with a nervous CTO and say, we migrate this part first, and this is why. Someone has to steer. So the niche did not disappear. It's compressed. Work that took months takes weeks, which means he takes on more of it, delivers faster, and charges for outcomes instead of for the time he used to spend deciphering. The mode moved. It used to be, I can understand this old code and you cannot, and now it is, I can direct AI through this old code with judgment and catch it when it is wrong. Which brings me to the part you actually came for, right? Here is how this is actually done. 4 steps and the order matters. Step 1, do not touch any code. Your first session with the legacy codebase is purely about understanding, and you let the AI do the reading. The mistake almost everyone makes is opening with something like modernize this application. That prompt is worthless. It is too big, too vague, and the model will confidently produce something plausible and wrong. So instead, you ask narrow questions with verifiable answers. Map the projects in this solution and tell me what each one is responsible for. Trace what happens when a user submits an order file by file. Where does this application talk to the database, and how many different ways does it do that? Which parts of this codebase have no tests at all? And that last one is gold, by the way, because untested code is exactly where your migration risk lives. And then, this is the important bit, you verify a couple of the answers yourself. Open the files. Check it did not invent a service that does not exist. You are calibrating how much this model can be trusted on this specific codebase before you let it write anything. Step 2, before any code gets generated, you write the constraints down in a file the AI reads every single time. I use the agents.md. Now, this is the single highest leverage thing in the entire workflow. And on a legacy project, it is not optional. Now, what goes in it? Well, the target architecture explicitly. If you are moving to vertical slices, say so. And say what a slice looks like in this project. The .NET version you're actually on, because otherwise it will happily write code for a version you do not have. The patterns you want, and just as importantly, the ones you have banned. So which folders are off limits entirely, how you handle data access now, and not the 3 legacy ways, of course. And one line that saves you enormous pain, do not add NuGet packages without asking me first. Because, well, here is the failure mode every experienced developer hits. Left unconstrained, the model invents things. It hallucinates packages that do not exist. It writes code that does not compile, and that is what makes people give up on AI and go back to typing. Constrain it, and the exact same model becomes reliable and genuinely fast. That is the whole difference. Not a better model, better boundaries. In step 3, you migrate one vertical slice, not one layer, one slice. This is where a lot of migrations die. People try to modernize horizontally. All the data access, then all the services, and then all the UI. And halfway through, you have an application that is half old and half new and completely broken, and nothing works. Take one feature instead. The whole thing top to bottom. One screen, its endpoint, its data access, its tests. Get it working in the new architecture while the old system keeps running around it. The old pattern name for this is the strangler fig. New code grows around the old system, feature by feature, until one day there's nothing left of the original. It worked before AI. It works dramatically better with AI because now each slice takes hours instead of days, and you can actually ship one a week to a client who can see it. And you always have something to show. That matters more than people admit when you are billing someone for a migration. And finally, step 4, you read everything. The contractor I opened this video with still works in Visual Studio, still reviews every change, still participates in the entire process. He is not sitting back while it works, he is directing and checking constantly. So treat the output like a pull request from a talented junior who has never seen your business. Fast, capable, occasionally confidently wrong, and absolutely not accountable for what ships. You are. And one more rule, and this one is worth money. If it fails at the same thing twice, stop. Do not let it try a third time. When a model is stuck, it does not get unstuck by retrying. It burns your tokens, going in circles, and you end the day with nothing. I know a developer who lost an entire working day and his whole monthly token budget doing exactly that on one stubborn problem. When it fails twice, pull back and make the task smaller. Always. So here is where this leaves us. The barrier that protected a legacy work is gone. That is real. And if your value was purely, I can read code nobody else wants to read, that value is falling. But the work did not vanish. It got faster, which means there is more of it, and the people who can direct AI through a difficult system with judgment are worth more than they were 2 years ago, not less. That is the skill. Not typing faster, directing well, and knowing when it is wrong. Now, if your team is facing an old .NET system and you want them to learn this properly with control instead of chaos, that is what I do in private workshops. One day, your actual code base, link in the video description below. And if you want to build this skill yourself first, my free Blazor AI Jumpstart walks you through the whole foundation. Also in the description, and it costs you nothing. Now, if this was useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I see you next time. Take care.